Limor here. It is April 2021, and this time of year kind of reminds me of last year, where we just got hit by a pandemic and we were still staying home. I was sent home. I'm a teacher, so I was sent home. Hey, hi, Steve. I was sent home to teach art, so I had to refigure my life, and I basically just started my website at that time. So I stayed home and I had a lot of time to paint, and I was painting, and I'm looking back at what is happening over the past year. So this week I'm going back to teaching in person. I'm a high school teacher, so we're returning to teaching in class. And obviously, I'm going to have less time at home, probably less time to paint. But also, I feel like I have changed a lot of the way I painted. So last year, I was painting very colorful and more realistic. And this year, I'm finding myself doing things more abstract. And I guess every famous artist over the history of time have changed their style. And one artist that come to mind is Picasso. He started with very realistic paintings. He had the blue period. I did a lot of realistic painting of people. And then there was the red period, and then there's other periods, and then he just went completely very loose and uh, cubism and very expressionistic. So and then became I would say very abstract, not very, but almost completely abstract. So um, I feel like I'm leaning more towards, I'm actually doing both. Recently I've done a lot of very realistic flowers. I waited for spring to come like everybody else, like when is spring going to arrive? I'm tired of the cold. So I did a lot of realistic paintings, small flowers, because I love flowers, I like the garden. I got a bunch of orchids. I'm an orchid mom. I have 5 or 6 orchids that plants at home that rebloom every year. So, and of course the daffodils, and they're so beautiful now. And even with my flower paintings, this is a little bit more abstract. It's obviously you recognize what it is, so it's not abstract, but it's a little looser. And I didn't paint every single flower. It's more of like the expressionistic feel of the hydrangea flowers. So from being very strict and very careful and being realistic and trying to create a realistic setting of flowers and colors, I started experimenting with abstract, and I have one painting in the back, and this one right here. Hello, hi. Um, and I found that abstract is very difficult. I did have abstract lessons to my students a few years ago, my advanced students in high school, and I did. Um, Hi there. Thank you for joining me and listening to me babble. Um, so I tried to do an abstract painting for my students, my advanced students. So it was the first thing in the year. I said, well, let's just do whatever you guys want, how you feel. I set some parameters with the abstract painting, and I restricted their color choices because it's very easy to just end up with mud if you don't quite understand the concept of colors. And they were like, Miss Dekel, this is very hard. I said, yes, abstract painting is hard because abstract painting requires you to basically reinvent. You're not copying reality. You don't know when to stop. If you just do paint based on your pure emotions and whatever comes to mind, you just keep going and going and going. And it's like, okay, I like that, but maybe I'll try this. And eventually you're just like, you don't know where to go. So this painting this is what happened. I just put a couple of tapes on here, started painting, and put some colors, and it turned into something else. And I started getting more analytical and started thinking about what does it make me look? What does it look like? Should it look this way? It should look this way. And I basically painted this like 4 or 5 times. It changed and looked differently, and eventually I realized that abstract painting requires a lot of discipline. It requires of you to stop and look back and not just go at it every time you want. You just have to be selective with your mark. So anyway, we'll see where it goes. I'm looking forward to another change in my life, and I'm sure as life moves along, as we get vaccinated and people are feeling more comfortable socializing, we'll see where things are going. I will have a few shows coming up, one in a couple weeks, local one, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for joining me, listening to me, and you can always make some comments. I appreciate it. So if you have any questions, just put it in the comments. So thank you guys for joining me. Appreciate it, and have a great April.